This is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus Raw. This is from March 29th, 2021. We're rushing headlong into WrestleMania, and now the matches that have been established, we're doing this heat thing where one side is getting beaten up by the other. That's what they booked all night long. I can't say that this gives any of the matches a big fight feel because the build for all of them is the same. So-and-so beats up so-and-so. Made for a very one-note thing, but again, they're in panic mode. They're still trying to sell tickets. They're still trying to do their thing. So let's just get into the show. There's individual teachable moments in most of these segments. We open Raw. Sarah Schreiber stops Drew McIntyre backstage as he arrives. Asks about Bobby Lashley offering a title shot to anyone who can stop Drew before WrestleMania 37. Drew says that makes everybody around him a potential target. Ooh. Anybody who attacks me is going to get a Scottish ass kicking. All right, at least we have a through line of a story throughout, right? So that part is definitely good. We're at the Thunderdome. We're not going to be here for much longer. Next week, I think, might be the last one. Or maybe the week after, I'm not sure. Tom Phillips welcomes us. He's joined at ringside by Byron Saxton. Tom hypes this show. Something I just thought of. You know, part of WrestleMania is that Raw after WrestleMania. That's one of the most viewed and sort of people paying attention to. It's gonna be weird not having the Raw after WrestleMania with a crowd. It's very strange, isn't it? I wonder if we'll ever get back to these sort of traditions. Not saying that I don't think crowds will never come back for Raw, but maybe they won't have crowds for Raw. I mean, they've been all about cost cutting, and I don't know. There's just a little more magic lost, isn't there? All right. We go right to the ring, and the Hurt Business comes out. This is so fucking terrible, man. The long and short of it is they get rid of Cedric and Sheldon. So there's no more Hurt Business. So there's no more entourage for Bobby Lashley. This is so fucking bad, man. People can try to explain this to me all day. None of it makes sense. You would want your heel champion to have as big an entourage as possible to buffer them against Drew and have that be the story. I mean, people love the Hurt Business, and in one fell swoop, it's fucking bad. I know somebody would try to defend this, but it's just awful writing, and it's bad, and there's so many reasons it doesn't make sense, and it just makes everybody look a little worse than they need to look. We saw last week what happened between Sheamus and Riddle, where Sheamus hit Riddle in the stomach with a scooter. It's fucking bad, man. Riddle rants and raves, and then he sees Titus O'Neil, and they have another demo. It's just fucking embarrassing, man. It's just so fucking bad. We're back from the break, and the announcer's hyped. Back from the break after basically nothing happens except for recaps. Back from the break, and two segments, Shane McMahon's expose on Braun Strowman and Miz and John Morrison premiering their Hey Hey Hop Hop music video. Well, that is something to look forward to, potentially, right? And then we see what Bobby Lashley just did to Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. My God, we're fucking recapping the show after we just did the segment. My God, as Sheldon and Cedric stop Adam Pearce backstage, and basically they threaten and insult Adam Pearce into giving him what they want. Fucking weird. Riddle versus Sheamus. The match happens. Sheamus beats him for a non-title win. Yikes. Sheamus stands tall in the corner. Riddle attacks him from behind. And then gets a bro chant going. What? Okay. We see recent happenings between Shane McMahon and Strowman. Shane's walking with Elias and Jackson Riker. And then back to commercial. Boy. Announcers are hype in WrestleMania 37. Please buy tickets, please. Drew McIntyre is looking for who might try to take him out backstage. And he finds AJ Styles and Omos. And they're thinking about the New Day, the tag champs. They have some words. AJ says their paths will cross in the future. Why wouldn't AJ and Omos attack him? Wouldn't getting a title match be bigger than... Nothing is fucking making sense, man. AJ has to face Xavier Woods tonight. Drew starts yelling about who's going to try to take him out. What? Announcers hype Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman night 1 of WrestleMania. Shane's in the ring with Elias and Jackson Riker. Shows a bunch of like supposed report cards from Braun, and he's stupid, and Braun comes out, and Braun's going to take on Jackson Riker and crushes Jackson Riker, and we have the choo-choo sound. Braun goes after Shane, but Shane retreats. Elias attacks Braun from behind. Then Shane joins in, and he knocks them all away. And then Braun says Shane can get these hands inside a steel cage. Oh my God. Somebody asked this question, and I think they might be right. Has there not been a straight up cage match in a WrestleMania since WrestleMania 2 with Bundy and Hogan? Not Hell in the Cell, none of that kind of stuff, but just a straight up cage match. Weird, right? Miz and Bad Bunny, we see what happened between them, and then we go to commercial. And back from the break, they introduce their Hey Hey Hip Hop single aimed at Bunny. And then Priest congratulates him and actually cuts a pretty decent promo saying he's going to beat him. And Priest tells them to bring it for a 2-on-2 fight. And Bunny points up at the WrestleMania 37 sign. Randy Orton is backstage. Talks about these legends that he's done stuff, but, you know, Fiend's a little different than all of them. He's an abomination from hell. And he knows that Alexa Bliss set him up for a trap at Fastlane. You think so, dummy? Orton saying he's going to dig down deep and really we're cut from the same cloth. I mean, it's a perfectly decent promo for an incredibly shitty thing. Bobby Lashley against Shelton Benjamin. It's what you think it would be. Hurt Lock makes Benjamin pass out. Yay. Stands tall. New Day brings some games for Omos and AJ Styles. This is a fun segment for a while where they play charades and all this kind of stuff. And AJ Styles and Omos just aren't cutting it, man. They hype Titus O'Neil and Hogan as the WrestleMania hosts. They show us a young kid named Ro who impersonates wrestlers on social media. Fuck, he does a good fucking Hulkster. I mean, it really is surprisingly great. The timing, the way he does the double bicep flex and then goes into the different bicep flexes he's going off. I mean, it's a fucking great Hogan. I don't know what else to tell you. It's fucking good. It's worth going out and seeing, honestly. AJ Styles against Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods wins by DQ because Omos throws him into the ring, picks up Kofi, throws him out over the barrier, and then just crushes Woods in the corner. Dun, dun, dun. And they pose. AJ Styles and Omos, that is. See what I mean? It's like whatever matches are for WrestleMania, someone's going to beat up the other one. That's what's happening this week. Alexa Bliss is backstage laughing. We go to commercial. We saw what just happened with Omos, AJ Styles, and New Day. My God. And then, you know, packages of what happened between Randy Orton, Alexa Bliss, and The Fiend. Blase blah. Bliss, who apparently doesn't know the tune to Pop Goes the Weasel when she hums it. She hums it wrong. It's fucking weird. Promo, Scary Eyes, Alexa Bliss, and so on and so forth. Okay. And then Fiend is there on another swing. Ooh, Drew McIntyre is backstage, sitting down in thought. He yells at Braun Strowman. Strowman gets in his face and said after he rips Shane McMahon, if there's anything left of Drew, he'll be the first one to come find him and take the title. Drew grabs Humberto and tries to get him to attack. Drew tosses Carrillo across the room. Drew steps up to Riddle next, but he has some lame excuse. Angel Garza attacks from behind. Drew takes him out. Goes on daring people to attack. He drops Drew Gulak with the Glasgow Kiss headbutt. Drew and Ricochet face off. Ricochet says the words of Lashley don't mean anything to him, but he's down to give Drew a fight. Drew respects that. So they're going to have a match later. That's good. It's a nice moment for Ricochet. Naomi versus Shayna Baszler. Naomi wins, rolls her up. Of course. Fucking shit. Reginald checks on Jax and helps her up as Naomi and Lana celebrate because they took her out. Asuka's backstage when Riddle rides up on his scooter. Oh my god. He says a bunch of fucking nonsense. Rhea Ripley backstage is talking to a staffer. What? They go to commercial. What the fuck is this show right now? This is definitely the weirdest part of the show. Not weird, like cool weird, interesting weird, but just like, why the fuck are they doing this? Like, what is any of this serving? This show is so fucking terrible, man. It's just so bad. Back from the break, we see what happened with Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, Miz, and John Morrison. They hype up Bunny versus Miz. I'm not going to get to see it because it's on night one. Oh, poor me. Adam Pearce is out for WrestleMania 37 contract signing. Here comes Rhea Ripley. Here comes Asuka. Long story short, Ripley attacks Asuka, flips the table, nails her, all this kind of stuff. Jax challenged Ripley and Asuka to a tag match on next week's Go Home show. Ripley says they accept while Asuka's still down on the mat. Why would she accept? I don't... What the fuck? Ricochet's walking backstage when MVP stops him. He's glad to see that Ricochet's thinking like a businessman. Ricochet says this isn't about Bobby Lashley. He doesn't think much of Bobby Lashley and MVP. This is about Ricochet going for a WWE title shot because he's not sure when he'll get another. He's going to beat Drew because he knows he can. Ricochet walks off. Ricochet gets Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wins in relatively convincing fashion. Almost boringly convincing fashion, honestly. Drew stands tall as the music hits. Mustafa Ali attacks from behind. Here we go. And then we come back and they're having a match and Drew beats him too. Convincingly. I did love the spot where Mustafa Ali jumped from the ropes and he got headbutted in the air, and his sell on the headbutt with the wide eyes was really, really great. I just got to point out what I find that is actually good in this fucking quagmire of shit. Drew stands tall as his music hits, and here comes Lashley MVP. They talk a lot. Drew gives Lashley some praise and says he would be the man if Drew didn't exist. Again, just weird. King Corbin comes out, hits a bunch of moves. Drew tries to catch him with that Claymore kick, but Corbin catches him with the deep six, spins him around and round and round and drops him. Then Lashley ends up putting him in the Hurt Lock 3 separate occasions. And then the both of them don't take Drew out. None of this makes sense. It doesn't make fucking sense. Don't try to explain to me how this makes sense. Why would Corbin not immediately like Pillmanize his arm or neck or something? Why wouldn't Corbin take this opportunity to cripple Drew to make sure he gets the title shot? None of this makes sense. Fucking wrong. I mean, it is. WrestleMania is happening regardless of how shitty they're promoting it. I mean, I'm not that naive, but man, this is bad shit, man. It's bad shit. Yikes.